Okay, I'm doing this weird filter as a shout out to Blac Chyna's kind of like funky fashion. What do you think? Blac Chyna in court this week. First up, Kris Kardashian testifying along with a producer from E! Television. Oh, by the way, if you like my channel, like, subscribe, and hit the notification button so I can keep doing this. All right. So what happens? Well, I mean, let's cut through the crap, right? We already knew that this relationship with Rob was going to go P-Tong. We just didn't know how P-Tong it was going to go. Why? Well, you know, because Kylie is with Tyga, the father of Chyna's child, her ex, who she probably still has some feelings for. And like, you know, it probably wasn't great that Tyga hooked up with Kylie. Okay. And she probably really resented Kylie. And then she meets Rob and he likes her. There's nothing sweeter like revenge. And I have a feeling that Blac Chyna, when she set her eyes on Rob, said, this is my chance, because he liked her. And she was like, oh, let's see how the family likes having the same thing happen to me, happen to them. And then she hooked up with Rob and she parlayed it into an opportunity. Let's not forget that Blac Chyna fought hard to survive. She comes from a dad who's a deadbeat dad who did not help support Blac Chyna in her life or her mother. She had to be a stripper for years in Miami in really tough clubs. And she had dreams of going to college and doing all these great things, but she had to strip, and she was so tired from stripping, she fell asleep in class and had to drop out. So this chick has not had an easy road. She's had a really tough road. Tough. You know, this is survival of the fittest stuff. And the fact that they've gotten to be, you know, where they are is pretty impressive stuff. You know, if you watch her show, I finally watched episode 1, you really get a feel that, you know, her best friend got pregnant at 16 and has been trying to fight to keep her son out of trouble. And he's 16 and he's been, you know, he got arrested and he went to jail, and she feels like she's failing as a mom. And the breakdown in families, you know, the absent family members because of death and drugs and the hood and all this stuff. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Okay, let me play you guys something.
You might call me Blac Chyna, but my real name is Angela Renee White. You know Chyna from the gossip rags, blogs, social media, and reality shows. You know her from the rumors, from the beefs, from the men, from the bullshit. But you don't know Angela at all. Hey! You don't know the girl from DC that has pushed, pulled, clawed, and fought her way to being one of the hottest influencers of pop culture today. You don't know the girl that has become a true American success story, but you will. No successful person does it on their own. There are people that come and go, whether they show up to help you be your best,
I'm proud of you, person,
or to create hurdles that ultimately help you grow. I'm not okay. They all have a purpose. My mother, Tokyo Toni, has been both. I love my mom. She's smart, but a hard-ass DC chick.
She don't talk to me.
Who can be my biggest advocate.
It's an influence somewhere, and I'm gonna deal with that bitch or that nigga.
And also my biggest distraction.
I'm ready to get the fuck ASAP.
My girl Treasure is my day one.
We just want to be prepared.
She's always had my back, and she's always there for me.
Why are you pushing people buttons?
Jamal is new to the team.
So why shouldn't she want to exploit the Kardashians? Also, she's seeing a family that has made all of their money off different types of exploitation and having a funny way of just making things happen in a way that they want by rationalizing or justifying or slightly, manipulating the optics of things. So, I mean, you can't blame the girl for saying, hey, this looks this looks like I'm not doing anything wrong. So anyway, she starts dating Rob, okay? And then I think she tried to make the best of it. And, you know, maybe she fell for him a little bit at one point or another, although I doubt it. And then they made a baby, and maybe during that time there was love in the relationship because she started to get her hands around that. But I don't think there was some strong attraction between Blac Chyna and Rob Kardashian ever. And I think they just were super toxic. And Kris Kardashian shockingly announced today in court. Kris was crying today in the testimony that she was reporting. She was saying that Chyna and Rob were intoxicated at the time of this altercation with the phone cord. And in fact, Chyna had been drinking for 3 days straight. She says it's an ongoing theme in their relationship, the drinking and the drugs. So Kris admitting that Rob Kardashian has a drug problem, along with, I guess, Chyna, at least in Kris's eyes. And that she sent her boyfriend over to try to break up this fight that happened because she was still recovering from Kim Kardashian being robbed at gunpoint in Paris and, afraid for her life. Oh, so this is really telling. So Kris sends a text message, okay, between Siani, I guess that's the showrunner for the Rob and Chyna show, and writes, Chyna beat the shit out of Rob's face. And then she makes a joke in court, comparing it to the Chris Rock Will Smith slap, which I guess people laughed, but I don't know how that was funny. In such a serious matter. Is this devastating or is this funny? I mean, really, let's choose one here. And then it goes on, and she said in a subsequent test to the showrunner, we need to ditch this bitch, in reference to Chyna. And she claimed that she only did that because she was emotional. Well, let me tell you something. If your boss lady reaches out to the showrunner is the boss. So if Kris was important to that showrunner and she said, let's ditch this bitch, that's pretty much what Chyna's saying happened. I hate to say it, but I mean, the showrunner, in case you don't know, is the person responsible for the show with the network. And they are the green light person. They're the person that makes it happen. So now E supposedly terminated Chyna based on an agreement that she signed. And they had the right to terminate after 4 episodes. I mean, I didn't read the agreement, so I can't tell you if that's correct. But they relied on that heavily in court. And Chyna said she didn't recall signing it. Then something really particularly unusual. So then the mom said that she received a letter that was purportedly from her son, Rob. However, Rob, it didn't write the letter, Kris said. There's no way that he wrote this letter. It was not his writing. And then she was pressed by the attorney, and she said, well, I know he allowed the letter to be sent on his behalf, but it wasn't his writing, I guess alleging that Blac Chyna wrote the letter, trying to convince Kris not to cancel the show. But that means that she pretty much perceived Kris as having control over the show, if that was the case. So then Jeff Jenkins, who had produced the Keeping Up with the Kardashian show and was involved with executive producing the Rob and Chyna show, gets involved. And he tries to, he says, solidify the relationship again, get them back together, get them counseling, try to get them to work it out, purportedly under the show's, for the show's sake. And Chyna is just saying, no, screw him. I don't want anything to do with him. And so, then he started pitching her to a bunch of music, MTV, VH1 networks as a reality star that did music, because Chyna was producing music too at that time, and he thought she was a character and people would want to watch her. So anyway, that failed. None of the networks picked it up or whatever, but it would appear that she might have been blacklisted. Anyway, the whole purpose of his testimony is look, we tried and it was just a loser all around, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Yep. And basically, Chyna did a self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay, I'm back. So, I wonder how Drake is helping Blac Chyna through this difficult time. They've been really close friends for years. Between you and me, I think, this is speculation, that Blac Chyna met Drake at a strip club. And I think they got friendly and then they became friends. And I think he helped her. I think he actually, got to care about her as a person, maybe over time. And then he maybe called in some favors for her. So anyway, interesting to see how this is going to all play out. I kind of am leaning towards Blac Chyna a little on this one, not at 100 million, but something. Something. Well, it is all very strange. I mean, Blac Chyna's had some good luck. She did a show on Zeus Network. The Real Blac Chyna is the name of the show. Her mom helped her write it and put it together. And it did, I think, 1 million views on its first episode, which was free. I think its second episode was free and it did like 3 million views. And then I guess they charged them. Now it's being sold to WeTV and it's supposed to come out on WeTV. So an E is reporting on it. So, I mean, it shows that she hasn't been completely blacklisted, although she did have to climb, Zeus isn't the typical mountain to climb for sure. She had to prove herself, I guess. Wow. Right around the time that this show gets announced to be going to Angela Blac Chyna decides to let Rob Kardashian off the hook for the $20,000 a month in child support she's been receiving for Dream, and instead gives him this really generous offer of 50-50 child support. Plus, they basically split all expenses, and when Dream's in his custody, he takes on all expenses, and when Dream's in hers, she does. And that was really unusual for me, but they decided this amicably, and then she gets her show on We. I think she's got a great shot at winning this one. Yeah, I do. And I think it would be very ironic that Kris Kardashian, Jenner, whatever, Kris, would end up paying basically for Blac Chyna's or Angela's children. I should really call her Angela because she was given Blac Chyna as a stripper name. And I know she's branded it into something else, but, her name is Angela. So anyway, Angela, I do believe... be great for her and ironic for her that Kris would pay for her child King, that's Tyga's baby, support, and also Dream, which is her baby with Rob. And I think that would be fab. And notice Rob is staying well away from this case, as he should. So, this is going to heat up, though, I have a feeling. She'll get there, but not before she's dragged hard in court by the Kardashians. And they're very powerful. And they're kind of like a mob lately. Have you noticed that on the Kardashians? They we'll take you down. Like, it's this whole thing. So, I give her, she's very brave. She's surrounded by some very intense, strong women. So I think she'll be okay. Now, one thing that happened in court was Chyna admitted not filing taxes for several years and making $2 million and each year. And she lives in a mansion and she drives a Rolls Royce. And I just thought, oh my God, I hope the IRS doesn't come for her. She's probably naive to, accounting rules. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, maybe she was trying to be clever, make it so she didn't have to show financials in this court case. But wow, that's a big red flag to the government. I feel bad because, Blac Chyna's come from a really tough life, and her mom even tougher. Her mom was brought up in the DC crack scene, the hardcore scene. Let me play you something from her show that might give you an idea of what I'm talking about, how hard it is. So here's a scene where her best friend gets a phone call. Listen, this is just really good.
Treasure, you okay?
Treasure's her best friend. You just heard her talk about her.
So, what happened?
She's crying.
So we're sitting and my phone rings and I see that it's my son's PO, so I answer it in a hurry and
Probation.
of course he's getting locked up.
Let me hear.
Something is always up with my oldest and he just got locked up at school.
A kid is only allowed 3 parties to school before we have to keep. And so I've been trying to avoid that. I've been telling the bar, you gotta get to school every single day on time. I try to stress that to him.
So this means it's automatic 9 months.
This girl just like is going through like the most, and she doesn't like actually deserve it. So it upsets
The PO, the probation officer, calls her and says that her son has been late to school 3 times and he's already in trouble. And his requirement by the judge is he has to be at school on time. And if he's late, he goes to juvenile hall, which is prison for underage kids. So it's just so stupid. Yeah, like that's a great idea. Let's take a kid who's already in trouble, and if he's late for school 3 times, let's throw him in prison. That's a great idea. Wow. Anyway, I'll continue.
So he's on his way to juvenile hall now.
Yeah, he's on his way now. Yeah, he's looking at the street level.
He's
Okay.
16.
I cannot deal. This is too fucking much. It's always something. I got him out on Friday, and he gets locked right the fuck back up. They told him he had, I didn't think he was gonna get locked the fuck up. I just fucking cussed him out in his text messages. I literally just fucking cussed him out. Like I'm job irritated now. Cause he's about to, that's 9 months. Like I just,
cleaning up is nothing wrong. Clean your room. What the fuck? Hell wrong with these kids?
I'm doing this shit by myself. So it's
No
the more
father.
he fails, the more I feel like I'm failing. Being a mom is difficult, period. It's extra difficult when you're doing it by yourself. This is not how I'm raising him. Like I do entirely too much, and it's just, and it's not enough. Like
You should stop being so hard on yourself.
I'm trying.
I mean, because it's like people gonna do what they want to do
I am.
regardless.
I'm just trying not to keep blaming myself for the problem.
Okay, you guys. Well, I'm now sad. I used to work in a homeless shelter and I used to tutor the men there, and I'd hear so many stories like kind of depicted in Blac Chyna's show, and really touches me. I can't help it. But anyway, I wanted to share a bunch of different ways to look at this case as it unravels with the Kardashian, beside the obvious, and the Blac Chyna, fight. There's so many ways to look at it, as you've seen in this video. I got a little carried away, but I hope you see what I'm doing, showing from many different sides to contemplate. Love to hear your thoughts below. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification button if you like what I'm doing so I can keep doing it. Oh, and we launched merch. It's going to be, the link is in the description of this video. Yay! I hope you like it. Oh, there's like a story behind each t-shirt, by the way.